Okay, the notes didn't really give a lot of example problems on like the ones that you're going to see on the homework. So I'm going to go over and give you a couple of hints on a couple of these. First, notice that it asks you for 2 facts. That's the 2 things we said at the end of the notes. What do you know about this side and this side? What do you know about their lengths? And what else do you know about them? That's the 2 facts you need here. That's going to be multiple choice on the form that you're going to fill out. So if you can't remember, you might look at your choices and see if that helps you fill those 2 out. Now on these, remember the 2 things that we know. And I'm going to kind of give you some hints on this one right here to get you started. And I just made it a little bigger so that I can write a little bit more on there. And we have to go through what do we know here. Well, we know that this side here is parallel to this side. So let's first start with our angles in here. And we know a number of things about angles now. For one rule that we know the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So if I'm looking at this big triangle here, here's my big triangle. If this angle is 92 and this angle is 32, can I find this angle here? That's in fact what we did last unit. Add these together. 92 plus 32 equals 124. Then to find this angle here, subtract from 180, and we get 56. So this angle right here we know is 56. Now as I said, we know that this side is parallel to this side. So these are 2 lines crossed by a transversal. So think about it that we could extend these out, and this goes back to our lines crossed by transversals. Remember how these worked. These 2 were vertical angles, so if we had an angle here, it would be 56. This one and this one are corresponding angles, and they're the same. So if this one's 56, this one's 56. This one would also be 56 because those 2 would be vertical. And then what do we know about these 2 right here? Well, those 2 are supplementary. They add up to 180. So if I do 180 minus 56, I get that this one is 124. So in this case, y is 124. I also know that these 2 were same side interior, which I might remember are supplementary and be able to subtract there. But you can work around and figure these out. The same thing would be true on this side. If this is 32, this one's 32. And then these 2 would be supplementary here. So I do 180 minus 32 is 148. This one would be 148. Notice that also in this triangle here, it has the same exact angles as the big triangle there. So that's how I can find all the angles inside there. Then I also know that this part is 1/2 the length of that part. So there's 2 different choices on how to do it. You could say this part, 5x minus 3, equals 1/2 of the big part. 24. So this part is half of the big one. This part is 1/2 of 24. So I could solve it like this. Or sometimes it's more convenient to do it the other way. This part is 2 times as big as this part. So I could also write it like that. 2, 5x minus 3 equals 24. This part is twice as big as this part. So if I do 2 times this part, I get that one. In this case, I'd need to distribute this to get this equation to solve. Both of those work, and sometimes one is easier than the other. So you'll need to finish these one of these 2 equations here to finish solving for x on this one right here. Then, on this one here, this picture is a little bit tricky, so I just wanted to point out. Basically, it's saying that each one of these is a mid-segment of those triangles. So, what we're saying is this one from GC, that's half of this one. And then this is cut in half. So, this part is half of this one, and this part is half of this one. So, you just divide by 2 each time. Remember, this one and this one are going to be parallel, so you can find the missing angles here. And then they said this is 22, and this is the middle, so if this is 22, this is 22, and then this is half of this one. So you can find all those sides there. Then at the bottom, on this one, each one of these is a midsegment. So this is parallel to this, this is parallel to this, this is parallel to this. So on each one of the sides, it's going to be the same thing. If this is 7, this is half of this side. So 7 is half of 14. And this is in the middle, so if this is 7, this is 14, and this is 7, and this is 7. The same thing happens on the other side. If this is 4, this is 4, so this is 4, and so on. Do notice it says right here how long this whole side is, so you can figure out what each of those are, and then this one. So then finish these up. So that's kind of some little hints to kind of get you started on that. Make sure you pay attention to those as you go through and work on this.